If anything, he should be glad nothing too serious happened. Kenji sighed, mentally cursing himself for even thinking the prank was a good idea. He should have known better. Aone was the most caring person he had ever met, but everything had its limits, and Kenji was painfully aware he crossed them. It wasn't as bad as he imagined it would be, but Aone still barely spoke to him, even 3 days later, and Kenji was becoming restless. Not that he wasn't used to his boyfriend being quiet, but this was a different kind of quiet, tense and cold. He knew he deserved that. He made Aone worried sick, and for nothing. But he really wanted to make it up to him. He did everything he could to make Aone's life a bit easier, but it still didn't feel like enough. He sighed again, for about the 100th time that day. Well, at least he doesn't seem angry anymore. He stared at the box with their old stuff they decided to throw away some time ago, but never actually carried it to trash. He knew his laziness in regards to cleaning was driving Aone a bit crazy sometimes, so he decided to use the time when Aone was in his workroom to tidy their bedroom and living room, and also throw away the box. Nice surroundings stimulated a good mood, right? At least a bit. The thing was, he couldn't read in Aone since the prank. Reading and interpreting Aone's expressions was a skill he was rightfully proud of ever since high school. The only other time he couldn't really tell what his boyfriend was thinking was when he discovered his phobia. And now, he didn't know, and it was making him feel helpless. He felt exposed and vulnerable when he didn't know what his boyfriend was saying. Which was stupid. It was like saying he was scared Aone would be able to hurt him, which was plain nonsense. Aone didn't become a different person just because of a stupid prank. Kenji guessed it was simply because he was so used to their non-verbal communication that not being able to see what the other man was thinking was a completely unknown territory. Unknown things were scary. Still, he couldn't stop thinking if this wasn't Aone's way of saying, "I'm getting fed up with you." He groaned quietly and carefully wrapped the box in duct tape for extra security. Fine, now just get it downstairs. He picked the box with quiet huffing, surprised by how heavy it was. What the heck did we throw away? Rocks? He repositioned the box in his hands to carry it better, which also meant he couldn't see anything in front of him. But it was quite comfortable carrying position, and he dismissed the quiet voice in his head telling him to push it on the floor instead. It will be fine. He walked carefully to the stairs, hoping he'll notice when the stairs start. He did notice. A second too late. He stepped forward, fully expecting the floor to be there. Instead, his foot flew through the air. A startled yelp escaped his mouth when he lost his balance, the heavy box weighing him forwards, and then there was nothing under him but a long flight down. His hand only brushed the railings as he tumbled down uncontrollably, and then he cried out in pain when he landed heavily on his left knee, more feeling than hearing the crack in the joint. He lay there for a while without a movement, taking deep breaths and gritting his teeth, before his mind fully comprehended what just happened. He tried to move the knee a bit and screamed, the sharp pain shooting through his whole leg. Fuck! Tears hazed his vision, his hands shaking as the pieces in the knee moved around under his fingers. He took a few shattered breaths, trying to calm his racing heart. Fuck. He glanced towards Aone's workroom, even though he couldn't see the door from his position, wondering whether Aone didn't hear him fall before remembering the whole room was made to be soundproof to some extent to prevent noise in the whole house. He didn't want to annoy Aone with this, but his whole leg was apparently screwed, and his head started to spin. He needed help. Nobu? Can you please come here? It took a while before he heard the door opening. I'm busy, Kenji. I know, I'm sorry, but I need your help. Like the last time? No, Kenji winced as he unintentionally moved his leg. Please come here. I know you are busy, but I can't get up. I missed the step and my knee hurts. I think I broke something in it. He waited if there will be footsteps coming to him, but there was no sound apart from his hissed breaths. He heard a deep sigh. I'm not falling for another one. No, Nobu, please. I swear I'm not joking. I don't know what's wrong with it, it just hurts. Despite his words, he heard the door closing again. He wanted to cry, both from pain and desperation. Stupid prank. He bit his lip, wincing in pain as he slowly crawled to the table where he left his phone. It was just about 3 meters, but it felt like an eternity before he got close enough, every small movement feeling like 1,000 needles stabbing through his leg. Unfortunately for him, the table was too tall to reach on it from the ground. He pulled up off the chair, biting his lip so hard he could taste blood on his tongue. He choked a muffled sob, trying to reach the phone. Just as he was about to snatch it, his arm gave up on him and he collapsed back on the floor, his knee colliding with it again. He screamed in pain, his vision going black for a second and tears spilling from his eyes. Please, Nobu, it hurts. Kenji? Please. A large, warm hand cupped his face. Kenji. He cracked his eyes open, seeing Aone leaning over him with concern written all over his face. He would gladly laugh at the irony, the situation mirroring the prank. It hurts. Which knee? I swear I fell. It's not a prank. Kenji, which one? Left. Aone carefully stabilized his leg and pulled the trousers above his knee, and Kenji could hear his sharp inhale. No good. Aone clenched his jaw and gently ran his fingers through Kenji's hair. I'll call an ambulance, okay? It will be fine. Don't move with it. He didn't have to say that twice. Every movement, no matter how small, hurt like all hell. Aone ran off while on the phone, bringing back a towel and a pack of ice, which he carefully laid on Kenji's knee. Kenji hissed and let his tears fall freely on the floor, biting his lip to muffle the bubbling sobs coming from his mouth. He looked pathetic as it was. He didn't have to wail in pain on top, even though he really wanted to. Kenji. He looked up, meeting Aone's gaze full of tenderness and worry. Maybe I could wail a bit. I'm sorry. Aone shook his head and settled by his side with the phone nearby. I just wanted to help out. I wanted to carry down the box, but it's heavy and I missed a step, and then you went back and I tried to get the phone and it... Aone's eyes widened a tiny bit, which in his case equaled being frozen in place with shock, his face shifting into an expression Kenji hadn't seen yet. Kenji's heart started to beat faster, worry spiking in his chest. Nobu, are you mad? Aone blinked and his face softened. No. He cupped Kenji's cheek again, gentle thumb caressing his cheekbone. Hold on, everything will be fine. Aone POV. As it turned out, things weren't that easy. He held Kenji's hand the whole way to the hospital, telling the paramedic everything about his boyfriend's health. As soon as they arrived at the hospital, Kenji was accepted for an X-ray to assess the real damage to his knee. Aone was forced to wait in the hallway, pacing up and down, waiting for the results. The X-ray showed a bad lateral fracture in need of surgery, which they both accepted in silence. To say he felt guilty wouldn't describe his feelings in the slightest. He felt like shit. His boyfriend was hurt and in pain, and it was his fault. He knew the box was heavy. He should have carried it down a long time ago. And it was him giving Kenji a cold shoulder after a prank that led Kenji into the hospital bed, his knee in a fixed brace, waiting for surgery. Cold shivers ran down his spine, imagining what could have happened if Kenji felt just a bit differently. He could have easily broken his spine or skull. He could have been paralyzed or dead. They should probably thank all gods it was just a broken knee. But it didn't change anything on the fact that Kenji was in pain, and there was a chance he wouldn't be able to walk properly anymore, let alone play volleyball for their municipal team. If that was about to happen, it would break Kenji's heart. Aone knew that, and it only added another layer of guilt, enlarging the dark, empty pit in his chest. He heard the noise when Kenji fell. He heard his cries. And yet he still decided to dismiss it as another prank. And it took him the last, worst cry to actually go and see what happened. Kenji had to hurt himself even more for him to take it seriously. He felt sick, ashamed. Still, he stayed by Kenji's side since his boyfriend looked genuinely distressed whenever Aone was about to leave the room, and took care that Kenji didn't have to move even a bit. He didn't want him to worsen his injury even further. He was glad to see his boyfriend's face not scrunched in pain anymore after he got some painkillers, but the guilt stayed with him. Where exactly went the promise to keep Kenji safe by all means? One stupid prank and it's all gone. Why? Why now? Why did I fail when it counted? Why did it? Nabu? He snapped out of his thoughts. Kenji was watching him with a tilted head and a worried expression. Are you okay? Aone's heart clenched. How can you be worried about me when it's you who's hurt? Nabu. He nodded hastily. Don't worry about me. There's nothing to worry about. You sure? You haven't said a word since we got here. Aone sighed, clutching his hands. I'm sorry. Oh, no, don't worry about it. It's not like you talk much anyway when we aren't alone, so... Not that. He clenched his jaw and avoided his gaze, unable to look into Kenji's eyes. He was sure what he would find there, and he didn't want it. He didn't deserve the soft look in his boyfriend's eyes. For not helping you. But you helped me. You called ambulance and got me here. And you've been running around me since I got out of the X-ray. But not fast enough. I didn't believe you when you called. His mind supplied him with the image of his beloved on the ground, writhing in pain and the horrible state his knee was in. He wasn't sure if Kenji had already seen the horrifying dark purple and black bruising. He hoped he didn't. Nabu, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, dear. He heard shuffling and quiet hissing from the bed. He looked up alarmed and quickly stopped Kenji from moving to him. Don't, please. You'll hurt yourself. Kenji huffed and settled with his back against the pillow, making grabby hands towards him. Then come here. Aone hesitantly pushed his chair to the bed, shuffling closer upon seeing Kenji's discordant pout. Apparently, it was still too far, because Kenji grabbed his hand and pulled him on the bed, which creaked under his weight. Kenji? Kenji cupped his face and squeezed his cheeks, looking straight into his eyes. It's not your fault. I know what this expression means now, and you have no reason to feel guilty. If anything, I should be sorry for making you worried with that prank. I value your care above everything in the world, you know. I love it when you care about me. And I'm sorry if it came out like I wanted to abuse that just to get your attention. It wasn't like that, I swear. But... Now, listen, please. I don't blame you for not believing me, okay? So don't blame yourself either. It wasn't your fault. You didn't push me down. I should have watched where I step. But... your knee. It might not be that bad if you didn't fall the second time. What if you won't be able to walk properly anymore? Or play anymore? Kenji sighed, a flash of sadness crossing his face, but it was fast replaced by more determination. Hey, I said no blaming yourself. I admit I'll be sad if I won't be able to play with you anymore, but it's not the end of the world. And I still be around even if I'm going to limp for the rest of my life. It could be much worse, right? Aone bit his lip, blinking away the mist coming over his vision. He squeezed Kenji's hand. Then I'll be by your side, if you want me to. Kenji chuckled and tugged on his hand to pull him into a kiss. Of course I want to. We both made some dumb things, so how about we call it even? Aone smiled and pressed a short kiss to his hair. Alright. Good. Now what about we play something? I'm bored. You should be resting before the surgery. I am resting, but if this will continue for a bit longer, I might die of boredom. He made his best puppy eyes. You wouldn't want that, would you? Aone rolled his eyes. Such a drama queen. But you still love me. Aone smiled. Yeah, I do.